And guess what? I have a podcaster supreme. You don't do that. Jared has been doing podcasts for around 32 years at this point. Six or seven, right?
2018. So 8, yeah.
8. So, and it started as just like gaming podcasts.
Yeah. So what was funny is I had a D&D campaign that it was set in the Adventures of Middle Earth. It was like a campaign setting. And it was really like well researched, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, because you're a planner, not a pantser.
I have come to terms with that. I didn't think I was originally, but I am. And it was really fun. And I was like, you know what I should do? The very first person I interviewed was someone from Standing Stone Games who had created the campaign setting. And I was like, I should do this more often. And then I started interviewing like Sindarin experts and Quenya experts and like philologists and historians and authors. And that's kind of how I got into it. And when we were done with the campaign, it was a trilogy campaign. And at the very last episode is set on the plains of Valinor. And we delve into one of Tolkien's lesser known, it was the second prophecy of Mondos, about the coming of Melkor.
Is that like from the Silmarillion or something?
It's from the he didn't actually include it in anything, right? So it's not in any published work except for like the histories of Middle Earth, and he wrote letters and stuff on it. And so the very last episode is the kind of his revelation, kind of apocalyptic fight comes to fruition in my campaign. And I got the guys from the Prance and Pony podcast to come on, and we dissected the second prophecy of Mondos.
Oh my God.
And I had written a lay, like a song, kind of like the Lay of Lathian is about Luthien and Beren. And so this elf maiden and this human who fell in love, and we like dissected it like they do with the other books on their podcast. And it was I just fell in love with interviewing people. So when the 4th season came around, I had a campaign that was set in Symbia and Forgotten Realms, and that we capped that season off by interviewing the creator of Forgotten Realms, Ed Greenwood. And by then I was like fully immersed in LitRPG, and I was like, if I'm going to do a 5th season, I'm going to do it on LitRPG, and I'm going to write a book. And these guys, some of the first people I met in the LitRPG community were my favorite authors, right? Like the Ryan Reynolds and the Neven Iliev and Eric Ugland and Robert Bevan. And then for that season, I had all of their narrators on for the book series that I plowed through. I had the Jonathan Sleeps from the Critical Failures novels. I had Jonathan McLean. That's how I met Jonathan. Neil Helligers. That's how I met Neil.
Happy birthday, Neil.
Happy birthday, Neil. That's right. I didn't even ask him to come on tonight because I was like, he said he's doing archery and going out to eat.
Right. Yeah. And I don't want to disturb his family time,
Yeah. And then I was kind of burnt out. So actually season 5, one of the other things that I did is kind of what you're doing on your podcast now is I picked Royal Road authors, people who hadn't been published, and I paired them with a narrator, a professional narrator who donated 10 minutes of finished work. So they would take content that had never been published and speak it professionally, right? And so one episode would be an interview with the author, and the follow-up episode, they would go in pairs. Second episode would be 10 minutes of that author's never published before content. And I met Alora Lee by doing that. I met Always Rolls a 1 by doing that, and he's a friend. So I met a lot of really cool people, and actually, I met one of my narrators for my second Celtic novel called The Breaking of Anoon. R.J. Bailey was one of the narrators, and he was fantastic. He did this thing called The Power of 10, which is a really popular Royal Road series. Very kind of like high fantasy, very like formal written. And RJ did a fantastic job. He's from Scotland, and he plays my noble in my second book, Tig.
So you've had multiple narrators in the Celtic series, not just Jonathan, but you have multiple people doing them, or
So from my first book, Children of the Cold Moon, and now granted, this is it's a people are not very familiar with Celtic novels, right? So I chose to write a myth about a mythology that hardly anybody knows anything about, and it's a really complicated mythology in terms of people don't usually just have one domain or aspect, right? Like so a god or goddess can have multiple areas of effect. But I chose to simplify it to make it more like the pantheons that people were more familiar with. So everybody is assigned kind of one domain, at least in the beginning. And I have a friend who's a professional actor who narrated my first book and did a fantastic job. His name's Chris Tucci. And when I wrote my second book, I decided that I wanted 4 different points of view. People were so spread out all over the quote unquote globe. It's actually not a globe. It's the other world is flat. But they were so spread out over the map that I was like, I can't tell this story from one point of view. I need multiple points of view. So Neil Helgers plays Kai, who's a Fomorian, one of my main characters. Aria Jacobs, who I'm actually chatting with right before the podcast, is recording Theoden. Chris comes back and does my main character Bren, and then R.J. Bailey does Tig, and it's just it's going to be so good. Like if if you've ever heard of Red Rising, that series,
I've heard of it, never read it, but yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, this is what made me think of it. So the second trilogy, which is going to be more than a trilogy for Red Rising, are voiced from multiple narrators, which I didn't like at first. It really kind of threw me for a loop, but it was the only way to tell this second story, The Breaking of Anoon. And I'm writing the third book now, which is called Rise of the Shealador. It's going to be the first 30 chapters are going to be from 3 different points of view. And then I'm going to have a few short stories in there. And then I'm going to have a fairly large appendices as a homage to the Return of the King.
I'll just start calling you JRR.
Well, it's more of like a, I respect that guy so much that I wanted to do my third book, and it wasn't a pot like doing Return of the King, where it's like the book is this much, but the appendices is this much. That was not a popular choice. I mean, people can say it was a academic thing, right? Like it's popular now, but at the time, I think people were like, "What the hell?" Like, they get this big fat tome, and then it's done in like an hour, right? So,
so you basically can't do anything simple.
I did make it writing a book from 4 different points of view was really difficult. But even worse than that is trying to find 4 narrators to pronounce Gaelic words the same way.
You can always you can have Neil just do lessons for them all.
Well, I put together a little Bible and I've taken samples from the first book. So I have I think there's over 100 words in the second book. And the important thing is continuity, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, there's a little different nuances, but for the most part, you want them all pronouncing the words the same way. But the words aren't really a stumbling block, right? Like for anybody who's ever read like any Slavic literature or like the War and Peace kinds of things, right? Like you don't even if you've read like Fellowship of the Rings, like if you had no context, right? You've never seen the movies, you never heard about them, right? You're flipping through it and you're like Sauron and Saruman, like those are very similar words, and I think that, the first time people probably got confused a little bit, but it clears up right away.
That's an acceptable thing. So that's your first series. So I'm pretty sure you had a lot of fun with Get Trucked.
I did. Yeah.
You came up with your own app, which is an important part of the book. Now, is it? It's not out yet, right? That's still coming, or is it?
Yeah. So I've been planning. Actually, today I was working with. I had some folks over at Legion Publishing helping me marketing, and I was talking with Kristen today about kind of the plan of how we're going to release. We're going to do. So it comes out the Kindle and the paperback comes out on May 4th, and I'll stub on Royal Road on May 3rd. And Pop got an
I
early
was
copy.
so happy and so surprised. I actually called Jared up. I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't tell you it was coming.
no, total surprise, total surprise.
So yeah, so I'm going to stub on Royal Road right now. Next Monday, right, this coming Monday, all of the chapters will be up. So the last 3 chapters are posting on Monday. So the final chapter plus the epilogue and the prologue are going to post on Monday. I'm going to leave it up for a week. I'm going to stub on the 3rd. The book's coming out on the 4th. We're going to do a giveaway on Reddit and all of the LitRPG groups. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then the Mr. Jonathan McLean is recording this, and he sent me a note last night that just made my day. I read it to my wife. He just said like he said I was going to wait till the book was finished, but I just wanted you to know that I'm really enjoying it, and coming from somebody like him, that really means a lot to me. I have a lot of respect for him, and was thrilled when he agreed to do the book. He's got the whole concept of Get Trucked is kind of ridiculous and fun. And I mean, not to say that the book's not serious, and we can dive into that a little bit, but Jonathan has like, he can do serious and funny very well. Like he can go back and forth and do that very well. And so June 1st, the audiobook will come out. And I don't know how much of a kind of a pre-order we'll do for that, because I'm going to get the files May 1st. Saturn V Sound is going to master them and get them back to me May 15th. And then for anybody who hasn't done ACX before, you have to get the book to them like 10 days early before your release date. Mm-hmm. And so there's not going to be a whole lot of time to like pre-order the audiobook, but there's been a lot of interest in the groups for, anytime I post or anytime we post something about Get Trucked, the very first question we get under the picture is this going to be in an audiobook?
Of course.
And
does that.
Yeah. Well, I know you read a lot at work, which is great.
Well, that's only my breaks.
Oh,
I don't read. Yeah, that's only like 15 minutes. No, I read. I get up at 4:00 to start reading.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have 3 kids. I have a day job. I try to stay in pretty decent shape. I coach a couple of teams. So by the time my head hits the pillow at night, if I pull out a book, I'm just gone. So I consume most of my books.
In a busy life like that, it makes absolute sense. I mean, at times I do as well. A couple books. I mean, I have two credits on Kindle. I mean, on Audible right now. I've got to pick what I'm doing. I've got to find 2 new books to add to my library that'll eventually get listened to. Maybe, kind of, sort of.
So what were if I could ask, what were the last 2 books you added to your Audible? I mean, if I don't want to put you on the spot, I'll tell you mine. If you show me yours, I'll show you mine. So while you're looking, so my last 2 credits, I think I did Discount Dan, which I still haven't read, but I want to, and Defiance of the Fall, which I can't believe I've never read, but I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't read it. It's down there. It's down yonder somewhere, and it's right down there. Yeah, it's down there on my Atheon bookshelf.
My thing is like, my thing is I have these series that I've listened to for years, since about, gosh, a really long time, probably 9 or 10 years. And anytime a new book comes out, I like binge it, and then I go to the next one. So to like roll more authors into that rotation is difficult sometimes.
All right. So here is a little story. I added Son of Flame, a firefighter lit RPG
Oh, that sounds awesome.
by J.J. Hutto. I've looked at it in the past, never got it. Here's why I did it. The narrator of, he's doing the fourth book now, I think he said, and I went to school together
No way. That's cool.
in the 1980s.
Oh,
And we both had divergent careers and whatnot. He ended up working for, the golf, PGA, golf on the golf TV channels, all sorts of shit. Sorry. And then he eventually became a voice actor, a narrator 10, 15, 20 years ago. And he sends a messenger. Hey, LitRPG master, I'm doing a book. Have you ever heard of? I'm like, no. It's like, what the hell, Adam? Why don't you tell me this? You see, you're my friend on Facebook. You see all the shit that I'm posting, and now you just do this. So yeah, I have to download, and it sounds just like him. He has a really good voice. I mean,
yeah,
he's perfect for.
Well, what's funny about that is the narrator for my first book, Chris, for Children of the Cold Moon. We were roommates in college for 3 years, and when I first told him about this, I didn't want to. I auditioned lots of people for the part, and I even auditioned Chris, and I was afraid that I was just going to pick my friends, so I ran the samples by my wife and by some coworkers, and every single one of them were like Chris, and so
There you go.
yeah. So I just didn't want to lose the things in chat here. Isekai Truck says, who is Isekai Truck, by the way?
Isekai Truck is Isekai Truck.
Isekai Truck. Okay. So I've seen that name around. And I haven't done Primal Hunter either, I'm embarrassed to say, but it's on the
read
list.
book one.
Yeah.
Way back. That was back in, after I read DCC, the first 4 books, and I, did the LitRPG on Facebook, and you get the Primal Hunter, the Will Wright, the He Who Fights Monsters.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. You know what made me read He Who Fights was I hadn't done He Who Fights, but when
there you go. He can tell who he is. I know who you are.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so what made me want to read He Who Fights? It had been on my list for a really long time, but last summer at LitRPG Con, when Heath did when he zoomed shirt in, it was actually Shirt's like whole demeanor, like what a like humble, like just a all around good guy he seems like he is. That made me want to read He Who Fights. I'm not gonna lie. So that's why I picked it up, is because I was like, this guy is an amazing person. I'm gonna read his book.
I read the first book. I really liked, it was my first exposure to an isekai. So, he's waking up in that garden, he's, and he just gathers up the people, and his exploring and his adventures down through that mountain with the lake below, and everything was just cool the whole way through. Then when you have the tier 4 guy come in on the Cloud City or Cloud Castle, it's like, that's scary. What the hell? And everyone tells me to get over myself, and to keep reading. And eventually I have to. But at this point, I just got stuck on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's for a lot of those longer series, I think that's going to be most people's advice, is just keep reading. Like Wandering End, same thing. Just keep reading.
Yeah, I'm beyond. That's going to be one of the ones. Yeah, no, it's too far gone. I'm too far gone with that.
Hey, I before I forget, and Dennis can correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but I'm going to be driving back from Ohio the day my book comes out. Get trucked on May 4th. But I believe at my hotel that night, when I'm done driving for the day, I believe Dennis, Richie, and Sam are going to do a buddy read with me on the RPG TikTok channel. Is that right? Dennis, am I misremembering that? But I think that's going to be like the day that the book goes live.
Is that correct, Dennis? Do you know how to type, Dennis? I know you've got some, great skill sets over there. I pick on him all the time. It's okay.
I love that guy. I don't know him that well, but I just had really great interactions with him. Yeah,
he's good people.
But anyway, you know, do you want to talk about the book at all, or
Oh, I
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
So now I really had high hopes of getting a lot farther today, but it's a really great read. It's a good read. It's an easy read. Did you develop this all on Royal Road as you built it, or did you just have it all written with Royal Road type chapters in mind, and then just plugged it out over the lifetime of the feed of the
That's
serial?
that's a good question. I had most of it written before I started posting on Royal Road, but I I am a huge fan of short chapters. I feel like it is very positively reinforcing. I got that from Dan Brown, right? So if you ever done the Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons or anything like that, um, uh, let's see here, I wouldn't call it a buddy read. It's a podcast interview launch of the book, but we all have. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Dennis. We'll have some fun. Anyway, yeah, so I like short chapters. And I the reason I like short chapters is not only is it positively reinforcing for the reader, but I get interrupted a lot when I'm writing, and if I had a 4,000 page or 4,000 word, sorry, chapter, the amount of times that my train of thought would be interrupted would just be too much to have a coherent chapter. So I tend to do 1,500 word chapters. Almost all of my chapters in my Celtic novels and in Get Trucked are 5 pages long, and and
So,
I don't have large text. It's it's a small text.
so is this is true? This is novella size.
No, it's over novella sized. I was very careful to stay out of the novella range,
Okay.
but it's getting it's a it's over 250 pages long,
Yep,
it,
barely. Yep, you're right.
and it's just barely into novel range. But my Celtic novels, they just kept getting longer. My second Celtic novel was like 420 pages. Yeah, and I decided, yeah, this book was just so much easier to write. Like I didn't have translations to worry about or to remember any of the Gaelic. It's set in my greater Boston area where I live, so all the places I know. It's a shorter book. Like it just came out. I had this idea LitRPG Con, and it just came out.
That shows so well that you know everything that you're writing about, all the locations, and it just it adds to the authenticity of the story.
Thank you. I'm sad to say that if you've read the first couple of chapters, then you'll know that there's a place called O'Connor's that they go to where they meet the first Ender,
Yeah.
Dan Driver, and O'Connor's just recently closed in the last month or two,
Oh, that's a
and
bummer.
it's my favorite Irish pub out here. So, but yes, so that's in the book. All the place. It's funny. My disclaimer in the front of all of my Celtic novels were like basically like if the likeness or a name appears in here, it's just by happenstance, it's by accident. I'm not talking about anybody. And in this book, it basically says, yeah, I used real places, but
Get over it.
right, like if you if anything negative is taken out of, that was not my intention, because I'm the only thing that I'm writing about in this book are places that I love, and so I included all the places in there are real.
And it just adds to it. I mean, just going up, crossing Mass Avenue, going back. Oh, I'm back over this one. You know exactly where you're driving around. I know where Lexington and Concord, and I have a cousin that lives up yonder, um, up over by Cambridge. Cambridge. I can't remember the town that he lives in.
Lexington, Arlington, Concord. Those
Short.
are, yeah,
Yeah,
Woburn.
it's up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I went up there for his wedding, ages ago. So that's the area. This is actually the truck kun. I mean, you everyone sees the truck barreling down on you with "I'm not the hero," with heretical fishing. You
Right.
see the impact of the MC being tossed into the new world and whatnot, but we don't know anything about it. You are addressing that, and that's what you got last year. It just popped into your brain.
Yeah, I remember. So like,
Wait a minute, you destroyed one of my questions. I have a question that I have to ask in every interview, so I'm going to do it, even though we now know the answer. How did you get this story? What was the first thing that created this in your mind? There, I asked the question. Go.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first time I read about Truck-kun was probably heretical fishing, maybe. I don't remember the first time I heard of Truck-kun, but I mean, it's a part of our landscape. But it was at LitRPG Con, and as you know, LitRPG Con is all about the food after hours, right? In between things, right? So you and I had breakfast one morning.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great. So I was with a group of people. I think the very first day we got there a day early, and we went down to the train station, and there's like a coffee place and dessert area. And there's a whole bunch of us, a whole bunch of successful authors and fans, just all hanging out. Nobody knew each other, or at least
that was scary, wasn't it? Yeah,
but it was really cool. And we were all just sitting around and we were talking, and I was like, I think I'm going to write a book, like a reverse Truck-kun kind of thing. And I remember
reverse harem.
Yeah, well, and I remember we went out to eat another night, and I remember at the table we were all talking about what we were writing, and I was like, if you don't steal this, I'll tell you the next thing I'm going to write. And so I told everybody about this idea for Get Trucked. And when I had the title, like the title, I just was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to do that. And so last night, after I got Jonathan's nice email, it motivated me, even though I'm writing book 3 of my Celtic series, to complete that trilogy. I started flowcharting book 2 for Get Trucked. It's called Truck Around and Find Out. So I've started doing something new with my books. Instead of just doing an outline, I've started doing an outline, of course, because I'm not a pantser. I'm owning it. And I do a list of things that have been talked about in the books that readers are going to have questions about, right? So like loose ends. So I started making a list of all of the loose ends that needed to be addressed in book 2 or book 3 for the Enders. So the series is called the Ender Chronicles. Did I answer your question? I think I did.
Sure, you did. You were going to do it anyway because you formulated somewhere over, but so it was just a reverse concept, is what it was. That's how.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get rid of my other question.
Well, hang on one second. So I think this is a good thing to talk about. So for all those authors out there, we have several people who are actual authors in the chat who have written before, and everybody kind of has their own style or philosophy. Some people, talking with JD Glasscock, he's like right to market. People have been telling him for years, right to market. And what that means is, right, like write what people want to read, write what interests you, but also if you want to sell books, if that's your goal, then you need to write the things that people want to listen to. And I think that's what that means. It's what it means to me.
Sometimes you don't understand you really can't comprehend with JD unless you listen really close.
Well, but this is advice other people had given him that he hadn't listened to necessarily until he started writing Nocturne. But so for me, I work the opposite, obviously, from my books, right? Like I'm writing about a mythology. I'm writing a trilogy about a mythology that nobody knows anything about. I'm writing a reverse Truck-kun that's, as far as I can tell, hasn't really been done. There was a manga, like a webtoon and I actually have communicated with the illustrator of that ran for a short time that had a similar concept, and people have probably heard of Battle Trucker. There was but that's not the same thing as Get Trucked. But there have been similar books, but nobody's ever done this, as far as I know. And so I guess the reason I bring it up is to say, like, if you're an author, you have to be very careful writing in these niche, like these really niche. Lit RPG is already a niche, but if you take like a sub genre in there. Like
that Venn diagram keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
The number of people that read are very small, right? But I actually we've had some really good interest in Get Trucked, and with the addition of Jonathan to the audiobook, I think it's going to be very successful. Not that that's why I write. I write because I like writing, and I've wanted to write my whole life. Let me see if I've missed any chats here. Justin Whitaker says, "Howdy, y'all."
Now, Justin Whitaker, of course, is Wraith Wizard Ascendant. It's his first book, and it's 800 pages.
Yeah,
it's a chunky thing, and he just indicated, what is it, Wraith Wizard Warrior or something? He's finishing up his second book, so I haven't seen him. He has this tendency to vanish and not tell anybody. So, of course, we think, oh God, he's gone. He's left this plane of existence. He's somewhere else now. And then he eventually comes back and we have to yell at him. Welcome, Justin. I'm glad you're here. I guess Dennis has read, he loves the crafting aspect of your Celtic stories. You have not perished.
I missed that comment. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, I'm happy you're here, Justin, and everybody else. Yeah, I mean, on my show, this is PopPop's show, but on my show, I love to answer questions from the chat. So
so do I. Oh, I do too. We all, absolutely. I survive on the chat.
Yeah,
chat comments. So Pudding knows that. That's why I always try to get everyone up here. Now, I am a pantser when it comes to PopPop's LitRPG world. I just come in and I try to exceed that 22-minute sweet spot. I'm never going to forget that. That.
Well, so for everybody who may not have heard me say that, so the average podcast consumption time is 22 minutes, right? It's the average commute time. And so this season PopPop loves to tease me because this season I'm trying to get all my episodes like under 30 minutes.
You mostly have. There's a couple that have gone slightly over, but you've been pretty good. I don't go to market. I mean, Raven's Dagger and I went for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
With a potty break. So, what can we do?
So this Sunday, Rhino Z and Jeff Hayes is on my podcast. So if you're listening and you want to come hang out, it'll be Sunday at 8 Eastern.
And who are you doing?
Rhino Z and Jeff Hayes.
Jeff is great. Jeff is so much fun to have.
Yeah. I got him on my podcast twice back in 2024. We did Neven Iliev and we did we did somebody else. I'm blanking on who I interviewed. But yeah, I mean, that season was great. That season was so good. I mean, I already love the genre, but to meet these people, I mean, I discovered something that you guys already know, which are these people are awesome.
Without a doubt. Yeah. So do you have your next season prepped? Do you know what you're doing for the future? You don't have to tell me. I mean, obviously you have it, right? You know what you're doing. Because again, he's a planner. He had all these interviews pegged like 4 months ago, all the way through.
Yeah, I tried not to do more than one interview per week. That failed a couple of times. I did multiple, but I had an interview lined up from, I think, January after New Year's all the way up to LitRPG Con. And I'm a little OCD when it comes to 50 episode seasons. All of my seasons have been 50 episodes. And I think I'm only going to make it to like 28 or something like that, up until LitRPG Con. So probably what I'll do, there have been a ton of people that I wanted to interview that I haven't interviewed yet, that I'll probably just continue on after LitRPG Con and try to get to that 50 mark for this season. But really the thing I want to prioritize is writing. I have fallen into a habit, and I can see this coming, of judging my productiveness from LitRPG Con to LitRPG Con, right? So I had one book released with the first LitRPG Con. I'm going to have 3 books released by this LitRPG Con, and I have 3 books that I want to write, and I'm hoping at least 2 of those will be out by the next LitRPG Con. So I want to focus a little bit more on writing than I do podcasting after this. So I've floated. I have a series that I've written about 50 pages of the first 10 chapters that I floated to a publisher already, and I'm kind of waiting to hear back. It's the first one that I've ever tried to like trad publish, and we'll see. It's the if anybody's heard of Ancient Aliens, some of you may have heard me talk about this before.
I got kicked off his Twitter feed once.
What's that?
I got kicked off his Twitter feed once.
I
said something snarky to Sukalis, and he kicked me off. And one of my Greek friends had to go back and talk him into letting me back in. This is like in the aughts, way, way long time ago.
Well, so Ancient Aliens has been on the History Channel for 22 years.
Yeah.
They have multiple shows out, but there's one guy, Robert Clotsworthy, who has been the narrator for their show for 22 years. I came up with this idea. Nobody is writing about, if you go on Royal Road and look up Anunnaki, which are, is part of what Ancient Aliens is about. It's the old kind of Sumerian Assyrian gods, right? Mesopotamian gods, basically.
Yeah, the easiest way.
22 years, Isekai Truck said. And so I was like, so again, this is me looking for a niche that nobody's written in. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a series called Anunnaki, the LitRPG, right? And to me, that title was hysterical. Like, I think of Airplane, the movie, right? Like that's what I'm thinking of when I think of Anunnaki, the LitRPG. And it's about this guy named Jack who works in a building called the Ziggurat, which is a real building in California, in Sacramento. And if you know anything about, you don't have to know anything about Mesopotamian gods, but essentially there are 2 gods, they're brother gods. One of them likes humanity, one of them doesn't. The whole concept of Ancient Aliens is like, okay, the Anunnaki kind of like seeded Earth, and they come about every 3,200 years, and there's a great calamity like the flood, and they wipe out human race, and one of the gods wants to wipe them out, and one of the gods tries to protect them. So the story of in the Anunnaki, the LitRPG, is going to be these 2 gods essentially appoint avatars, and those avatars have to duke it out to decide whether the human race is worth saving. And I use the idea that we have Anunnaki DNA in us, and that when you become an avatar, it wakes up your whole skill tree, right? So that's the LitRPG.
That's cool. No, that's awesome.
So you're going to know the whole skill tree from the very beginning, and then as he becomes more powerful and defeats these calamities, he awakens more of the skill tree, and then he has to essentially prove the human race worth and save Earth. And so that's the book that I floated out.
I was going to say, that's what you're putting out there, right?
Yeah. So I want to write that. I want to finish off my Celtic trilogy, and I want to write Trek Around and Find Out. Those are the 3 books I'll be working on in the next year. So,
and you've heard it here.
Yeah. Oh, and Robert Clotsworthy. The reason I brought him up is I reached out to him, and he said he would be interested in voicing my book. So the narrator for Ancient Aliens, which would be cool. And he's done. He
has a great voice.
He does, yeah. And I think it would bring that kind of nostalgia to the book. Yeah. Well, I Justin said busy guy, but I probably won't finish all 3 of those books before the next LitRPG Con. It's the goal to like
27. You can have it finished by.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
That's fine. You'll have it done. You'll do it. Have faith. Have faith in yourself.
For the authors here in the chat, that you know that the tricky part is when you're juggling multiple books, and you're juggling, you have to stagger. Like what's funny is my second Celtic book, I finished it in November. The audio book for that's going to come out after the one for Get Trucked, because there are 4 narrators, right? So I constantly have this staggered schedule. If you're working on multiple books with multiple narrators, like you constantly have these kind of staggered schedules, which is hard to kind of keep straight. Not that I'm complaining. I love it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what else do we want to talk? What else do you want to talk about? What do I want to?
Well,
the weird thing is when I played Ender, on the app, you're picking a car. I can see the progression. You can see the progression of the vehicles as you go up, and the add-ons and whatnot. But the app, the game, when you get to the book is so much more involved. Even again, it's a short book, short chapters, but it grabs you.
Thanks.
It really does. I mean, you just want to go and keep reading. I really wanted to add this to be the second book I read in a day.
Yeah.
But the real world interferes.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's meant to be, it was a quick write, and it's meant to be a quick read. And
it will be. It will. I'm going to probably have it finished, over the week, before the weekend or over the weekend, because I have to start reading for next week.
Yeah, well, if I could, I just want to mention a few other things about the book. So the app, I developed the app because I wanted the readers to be able to see the interface that the main character uses, right? So the main character, Max Ryder is his name. So all of the characters have a pun name that are related to cars or motor vehicle, roads, whatever. So there's a character named Laney. There's a character, his handle is called Axel Rhodes. And it goes on and on. Dan Driver, right? So these are all the names. And all of the locations are in Boston. All of the bands that I mentioned, I'm a big music guy. I try to include, in my Celtic novels, I try to include 2 original songs in each half of my book, or 1 song in each half of my book. So 2 original songs in each of my books. So music's a big part of Get Trucked. There's a bunch of punk bands mentioned. There's Godsmack that's in there. There's Aerosmith. These are all Massachusetts bands.
Right at the beginning. Yep.
Yep. And the app itself. So the main character, Max, he signs into this app and he gets all of these gifts, right? That are because he works for death now. And the name of the app, Ender, right, is supposed to be like a play on Tinder or like any of those websites with an R at the name, right? At the end. It's like a rideshare app for people who hit people with cars. Right. So they're
Murder app.
Yeah.
MURDR. No E.
Right. Well, so Ender stands for Earth's next directional relay system or something like that. I'm blanking on it, but
because you wrote it already, so you don't remember it.
Well, it's an acronym, right? So the people that work for the Ender department. So there's the Bureau of Afterlife Dispatch.
Bad,
right? Which is headed up by 3 fates. There are 3 departments. There are the people who take souls to Terminus, which is the underworld. There are the Echoes who handle the reincarnation, and then there are the Echoes who handle sort of the interplanar traveling, right? And so those people hit people with cars and send
the Enders.
The Enders.
Twice, Enders.
Yes, thank you. Okay, yeah, Enders. And so the Enders sign into this app, and then they have it works like a rideshare app, right? Their dispatcher in their region gives them a ride, and it maps to the person they're supposed to hit. It tells them where they're going, who requested it, what the realm they're going to is like. And then once they complete the fare, they can level up their car and level up their weapon systems in the car, and their body advances too, right? So it becomes stronger. So I don't know. I want.
I mean, you don't really know why. Why are you killing? Or no, I'm sorry, you're not killing them. Why are you sending the person elsewhere? You don't know. You just, as you say, the fare. Who assigned you the job, what realm they're going to. We have no idea do we eventually find out what they do?
Yeah. So the book series, I think in trilogies, right? So I'm thinking that this one will also be a trilogy. I'm not really somebody who's going to write, 10 books in a series. I don't think, because I get, I want to move on. I want to write other things, but the way that I see this growing is, so this book is very much about Max figuring out his department and kind of his role in it and who he can trust. And he learns he can't trust many people. And so the second book is going to expand that world, right? He's gonna meet some people that are kind of higher up in the organization. He's going to have to take a road trip kind of outside of New England. He's going to have to go to the regional office. That's the idea, right? And then by book 3, Max has been leveling up very quickly, and when you get to a really high level, you become what's called like an avatar of death or whatever. So your body has advanced so far, and so I picture the stakes getting bigger, and where he's going is getting kind of more complicated, and meeting people higher up in the food chain, so to speak. So that's the idea of the book series.
Does he eventually meet death itself?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know where. In some ways, I think we're all pantsers in some ways, right? Because we don't know until we know. There is a fair amount of planning, I think, that go into these chapters, but I think as authors, we have basic concepts of looking ahead for books, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We won't know that until we get to that point. I think at least that's how I work.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. What else do you want to get out? This is because now here you are my guest. You are not responsible
That's great.
Managing the podcast. You get to do whatever you want. And we're messed up. Hopefully we'll be able to figure this out. And I'm going to, you'll have to try to download and save your local recording as well. And we'll have to try to put everything together.
Sure. Yeah.
We're having issues. So what else do you want to tell? What else do you want to talk about? What else do you need people to know?
Yeah. I mean, I would just, I'd love it if you could give the books a try. And, I think Get Trucks is like I said, it's really fun. It's really quick read. And I've never written anything quite so fast, because it was so much easier than writing the Celtic.
Did it just flow? I mean, did it just like?
Yeah, it just kind of came out. Yeah, right after LitRPG Con. So I attribute that to like mind melding with the people at the con, because that's all we do is talk about books and talk about ideas, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who came away with ideas after that conference.
I just went to Jordan Con. I just had the ability to, I now am being abused by Eric Ugland, which means how cool is that? So, I mean, Eric will just sit there and just have his little notebook open, observing things, talking with, Jez and Brian and just writing notes. Constantly they write notes and ideas. And
so the interesting thing about Eric is that he does a lot of his writing with dictation. And I don't think I could do that, because most of the stuff that I say, it like gets it wrong, and the sentence are, incomplete or run-ons. But somehow, I guess if you're as prolific as Eric, then you have to find a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Ben in the chat, Ben Bell. Hey, Ben Bell. He says, make sure you get the correct Get Trucked. And what he's talking about is this has come up before. There is another book on Amazon called Get Trucked, which is very different than my book. Thankfully, mine now shows up above that book. It's the first one on the list. But correct, yes, mine. If you're doing a search for it, make sure you look up
Get the long-winded one.
Get Trucked, and I would add the LitRPG tag to that. Yeah. Although you'll notice right away which one is mine. Mine has a truck on it with the state trooper. Yeah. And PopPop's going to go and Google that next.
No, I've seen it. I mean, I've already seen it. So, no, I'm old. I'm not dumb. That's for sure.
Woohoo.
So,
thanks, Justin.
I'm so glad. I was wondering if he was going to show up. He hasn't been around a while. He's busy. I know that. But he's one of my go-to guys, and I can't wait to see him for the next book that comes out. If he'll have me, who knows? Now, we have your next podcast coming up with Rhino Z and Jeff Hayes. And who else on that one?
That's it.
So two.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's Sunday, and then a week from Sunday, I'm having Haylock on, and we're going to discuss some heretical fishing.
Haylock's fun, and that's always so cool to make sure that you're doing that 12-hour time difference. Well, even with Rhino, he's still over there too. So you got 2 12-hour time differences.
Well, you know what I love about Rhino? So if you talk to him in Discord, he has a Gandalf picture, which I didn't get until I read his books. But so he's also he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as evidenced by one of the characters in his books. So if you didn't know that about him, I think it's going to be a really fun chat.
At some point, I'm going to have to sit down and just watch yours, because your time's just I'm driving home from a Wawa or going or doing. But fortunately, yours are only about 22 minutes long, so it's very easy for me to watch. So,
sure, yeah, just like my chapters.
Yeah, your chapter, the chapters in this book are great. I mean, they are short, but the pacing of the story is so good. So.
Justin said pre-ordered the book. Don't know when I'm going to be able to read it, but I'll own it forever. And I totally understand what that's like, especially as an author, right? Like sometimes if you're like in a scene, right, you're trying to work out this chapter, it's really hard for me to pick up somebody else's book or to listen to somebody else's book. This is not just being busy. It's that I have like, even when I swim, like I'm thinking about that scene. I'm thinking about, okay, where am I? What's happening in the council room? Like, the war just happened. So everybody's going to go off and do this thing. What's the thing that
there's
they're
no
do?
peace in your brain?
Yeah. So I get the whole, 100%. You're spot on. Yeah. Okay. I thought so, man. I totally get you.
And Justin, you better have that book ready to go for me in paperback form. That's all I can say, because it was a struggle to get him to do that for me. So now I get to talk about mine, unless you have more. Tell me where you are. How do people find?
I mean, I think that
the long-winded one.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to find me is to go to longwinded.one. And if you want to download the app ahead of the book release, you can go to ender.app, ENDR.app, or you can just go to longwinded.one under apps. They're there. I have another app that I'm going to be working on called Interbellum. Interbellum means between wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so Interbellum is going to be, at least I had envisioned it being one of the old classic text-based RPG that you used to play, and it's going to be set. Well, I thought it would be kind of retro and cool.
Oh, it is. It's retro and cool. I mean, I would appreciate it now, and I remember playing them. There was one that was all colored.
Yeah,
the texts were all colored. And that was highfalutin back then.
Well, I'm thinking this is going to be very simple, and it's going to be set in the in Anun, my Celtic otherworld.
Of course it is.
And it's going to be set between the two major wars. And I thought that would be fun to do. But I got to have less books to write in order to focus on that app. But I don't really want less books. I didn't mean that.
I understand. You just need more time.
Yeah.
So now I get to talk about me. Yay. Cosplay is here. Cosplay is an Athon artist, accidental summoning, and eternity's bargain. Leave me alone, cosplay. He's having some issues. We can always say Cost has issues, and it's a safe thing to say. Thank you for showing up. He makes it a habit to come late. I don't know why. So next week I have 2 interviews. Last night when I was interviewing Drim, Savitar was there, and I mentioned that I did not have an interview set up for next Wednesday. So within 10 minutes.
Oh, you told me about this. Yeah.
I have an interview.
Yeah.
I am interviewing Ben Denton, author of Ashlani's reincarnation successor to Kukulkan. I can't pronounce that one. That's kind of like your Anwin, and the Pinnacle Warrior. we have a really good story about Ben, otherwise known as No Creative Name, over on his Royal Road user, that stretches back to the infamous bot or no bot controversy. And we'll talk about that next week. Jared knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
do.
Because yes. So this is funny. I don't know if you remember this, Pop, but when I first joined the LitRPG Con group, we were talking about doing like a campaign at like some role playing at LitRPG Con, the first one.
No, be careful. Be careful. Don't give it away. If you're talking about when I popped in.
Okay, yeah. All right.
No.
Well, I was talking about my my gnome. Do you remember this?
No, go ahead. Yeah, that you can say. That's different then.
Okay. So I created a gnome called like gosh, I don't even remember his name, but anyway, I posted in there and I oh man, I wish I could remember the name. But you said, and I didn't know it was you at the time. I didn't know you. You said that doesn't sound like a gnomish name, and I found a picture of the angriest gnome I could find, and he had an axe, and he looked like his eyes were bloodshot. He's like,
we can go find that, or someone could go find that.
And I put it into a meme creator. Snarbins was his name. So it said Snarbins rages, and your your response to this was Jesus Christmas, never mind.
Was it Jesus Christmas or Jeebus Christmas?
It was Jesus Christmas.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. And
that was when I was really early on in the creation of the persona. The boomer pop-up persona was hard hitting back in the day.
It's so funny, and I remember I told my wife I'm having a good time. I'm talking about like looking forward to maybe doing some role playing while I'm at LitRPG Con, and then you just like out of nowhere you're like, that doesn't sound like a gnomish name, and I'm like, somebody's just trolling me, and so when I met you the first time, I was like, you're not a bot.
No. The first part was actually, I can say this, like after coming out of that the first session, Gims and I are walking out and I hear this pop, and it was Butt. And Butt was the first one as well to see me there, and then there was even more text. I have all the screenshots from Immersive Ink on it. So yeah, the other one I literally have the triggering event.
Okay.
Controversy.
Okay. I didn't realize there was a persona that was, being honed. I just,
oh my God, over in Below Decks and the Below Decks. Oh yeah. Go ask Jay Krause for all the boomer comments. There's a shit ton of boomer comments.
Yeah, I remember seeing them, but I guess I didn't catch on. For anybody that's watching, if you're not in the LitRPG Discord, it's one of my favorite Discords. Learning that Pop is playing a character is shocking. No, I refuse to accept this.
Oh, trust me, I'm like this all the time. I mean, it's me. It's not much of a play. So I have that on Wednesday, but get this.
Okay.
You're going to love this one. On Thursday, I'm interviewing Edie Sky. Do you know who Edie Sky is? Edie Sky and Jacob Hollow. Are you ready? Cat Girls from Outer Space.
I know that one. Yeah. Okay.
I've been looking forward to this for the longest time, and I always have to do the tagline. Want to make some kittens tonight? Come on. That sold the book.
That's good.
I'm allergic to the kittens. Never mind. Wait, no. We're stopping that right there. Those are my 2 interviews next week.
Well, Cosplay put in the chat that they like my wall art. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah. Yep. No, you have to push it up a little bit. That's his books.
Well, so yeah, so those are the books up there, and then I have D&D art. It's Tolkien art that I commissioned, and then over here, up on the wall, I have D&D characters.
Oh wow!
Never show. So I have all. This is where I play D&D. This is where I podcast. So I have a ton of D&D art here. Here's some more characters that I've had done. This was from a Star Wars campaign. Yeah, man.
Here.
Yeah, so lots of commissioned artwork. I see a poster over there from Hunter Mythos.
That's Pure Mage build. Slayer Bull is from Kevin Johnson. I have Justin Whitaker's Wraith Wizard Ascended, but apparently it fell off my wall and it's sitting behind something. The problem with disc plates, they have this tendency to fall down eventually. So I had the front cover from that done. Over there, I have Stumbling Up. So I have 4 or 5 right now.
Can I tell you, speaking of stumbling up, Rec is like one of the nicest people I think I've ever met.
And I torment him horribly.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is very good. He's one of the first people I got to know in the LitRPG area, and we just sat there in the lobby at LobbyCon.
Yeah,
and that was really cool. God, my room is dark back there today.
I want to get something before we wrap up here. I want to get a few things so I can show people my swag, my giveaways for LitRPG. I'll be right back.
That's why we're here. Just deal with it, people. He's my guest. It'll be fine, Justin. It's over there. I'm gonna have to order a bunch of new magnets.
Okay.
It's just that one area that kind of like they fall down on, so I'm gonna have to shift them around where I hang them up.
So, all right. So first of all,
who do you use for your ribbons?
Oh man, I forgetting all the websites. I ordered so much stuff. It's just ridiculous. But I'll be doing an author signing, and I'll be giving away at least 50 books. But these ribbons will be floating around. So this is the Four Treasures Saga. That's my Celtic series. You can put on your name tag. I've got the Get Trucked ribbons that you can put on your name tag.
We've both of those. Save them for me.
Yeah. I got some Get Trucked mints, so people can have some mints. Let's see here. What do we have? I feel like I'm forgetting something. These are super cool. This is one of the new things. I don't know if you can see this. It's a bookmark, the Four Treasures bookmark.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah, so we'll be giving those away. I have hundreds of all of these things, so I'm just excited to give stuff away. And then, of course, the thing that people hopefully are most interested in are the books that I'll be bringing. Children of the Cold Moon, Breaking of Unknown, Get Trucked. We'll be giving away lots of stuff, so come get some free stuff.
Well, I have to bring. I'll bring that. I'm going to bring this one specifically to have you sign.
All right.
Since it was pre-release, pre-whatever, total surprise.
You actually have a typo in there. I had one typo in the book, and it's been fixed, of course. But so you have it. Yep.
Will I see it when I know it when I see it?
I don't know if you'll catch it. Yeah, it's I don't know.
How far is it? How far in is it?
About halfway through.
Well, I'm still good. Okay, I'll watch. I'm good at that kind of stuff.
So is cosplay and Justin? Those are the two folks that are active in the chat right now. Are you guys coming to LitRPG Con? Got to come get some books. Come get some swag.
Justin, I think you're going to be there. Cost unfortunately won't be able to attend.
Okay.
But I think Justin's going to be there.
I'm a panelist. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I want to moderate an APOC panel.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And I've already talked to Geneva about that. So
nice. I'm writing a book that had Fiona in it quite a lot. Oh, cool. So Isekai Truck is talking about so Fiona is actually it's a term that I use in my book, and this actually came from a Royal Road reader. So I had a promotion going on for my first book that I just wanted to get people reading it. I said, if if I don't know if you like my story or something, or read my story or whatever, I don't remember what I said. Rate my story. Um, I will. I said DM me, and if you want me to include something in the book, or if you want a personalized poem from my sage, then I'll send it to you. And they were like, okay. I forget who it was, but they said I want to know about Diarmid of the Love Spot and the Fianna. And so actually he just said Diarmid of the Love Spot. So Diarmid of the Love Spot is Angus Og, the god of love's son. He has this love spot and he seduces people and he gets into shenanigans. And I didn't know anything about him. He wasn't supposed to be in my book, but I loved the concept when I was researching him. He's part of this the Fianna. And the Fianna is from, so the Celtic cycles, you have the ones that are about kings, you have the ones that are about the Tua, you have the ones that are about the heroes, and it's called a Celtic cycle, right? The hero cycle, and the Fiannas were in the hero cycle, and it's about these traveling bands of essentially mercenaries is kind of how I took them, and it was the perfect concept for a part in my books, and so and this band of people are made up of dissonance, people who don't like what the king is doing, right? So they travel around the Midlands helping people out according to their leader's own personal morality. So Isekai Truck, I don't, you probably know more about the Fiannas than I do, but that's the concept in my story. And with that, I killed the conversation. You're welcome.
I do. Trust me, I kill enough of my own conversations when I'm down in the Discord, because you know what? All these 20 somethings, and all of a sudden, a 64 point something old guy comes in there and says one thing. It's like, oh my God, get rid of this guy. He's crushing us. So, but I have a really good group of people that help me out down way down there in the Discords, and over on Royal Road, which I love tremendously.
Yeah. Well, you're doing, I meant to say, like, I saw, I don't go on Reddit very often, but occasionally
Reddit scares the shit out of me. So
scares the shit out of me too. But occasionally I'll get pinged in something. And there was a thread the other day, and they didn't mention your show, and I don't mean to bring that up on the podcast, but here's why. So they mentioned LitRPG, and they mentioned mine, but they were talking about podcasts who have traditionally interviewed Royal Road authors, and I don't usually go on Reddit too much unless I'm giving books away, but like there's a market for what you're doing, right? There is you are identifying not only big name people, but you're identifying up and coming authors, mm-hmm. and people who release serially, right? In the way that we probably, a lot of us have started. And so I think you're doing something that more people than you realize want to consume. That's all.
I'm working at it. And, last night I'd never heard of this guy before. And, I'm going to go back and listen to more of them. Yeah. They're going to be able to see my Royal Road interviews.
Right.
And I will always, and I do have, Weaver, but I have a whole, a little crew that help me find people. And of course now, I love Mango Media. I love Selkie. I love Sav.
Yeah.
And I will do those interviews.
Well, I think if you you're obviously better at marketing than I am. Some of the stuff you come up with is really polished. But if you have it on your website, I would definitely tag the episodes where it's a Royal Road author, right? So people can easily filter by people who they might know from Royal Road. I think,
and I don't know how to do that. So I was going to sit down and try to figure out, look for some videos and do some other research to see what else I have to do in terms of, I have 280 some followers. So do I blast them out the day of an interview and send something to all of them and say, I have something tonight, come and watch? So I have to figure that all out. So I still have marketing to do. I'm still learning. I got my link tree.
Yeah.
So I'm getting there.
Good.
So guys, thanks for coming in. I know that Jared is suffering right now because he's been on this for over an hour.
I could talk. I mean,
trust me, I know.
Yeah.
This is you being released. and free.
Yeah.
And you know that I don't care. I'll go as long as the audience wants, or as long as we go. So,
well, as Justin said, fun show. Thanks, Pop and Jared. And
I try to have a fun show every time.
Yeah, and I'm happy to actually get to chat with some of you guys that I haven't chatted with before. So, thanks for being here.
And we'll do it again. Now, when it comes out in May, I'm going to let you do all your stuff. I'll make sure I get to go. I'll do my 5-star.
All right,
that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're trying to help, a good first day release, and I'll be on the road for some of it, but I'm going to have to. I promised Kristen, who's helping me. I promised that I would, respond to all the things in Reddit with the giveaway codes and everything. So,
and I'll have to buy an ebook in order to be able to do the review.
Yeah, I think honestly, yes, of course, I would love for you.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but I don't know that you need to. I think you can do reviews without actually having it purchased.
And I'd rather not risk it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I mean, what? Right. I mean, I'll have enough credits anyway. I can get it for free, but I want to make sure I'm a verified purchaser or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Pop, thank you so much for having me,
Jared. Go, take care, guys. We are done. I'm tired. I'm old.
I'm going at 9:30. I'm playing D&D, so this is good timing.
Oh, you got to get out of here. Then you got to get ready to go. Jared, take care, guys. Thank you so much, Justin, Pudding, everybody. Cosplay, thanks for showing up. I'm glad you're here. All my regulars, all the new ones. I don't know who that is. You have to go and send me a message over on Discord or on Facebook so I can figure out.
Yeah, and for everyone
who hasn't, subscribe to Where Is Yours?
Longwinded.one, but again, I'm on Facebook as well. So come find me on Facebook, add me, and I'd love to chat with you there.
And can they like your page? I mean,
yeah, sure. So I have an author's page there.
Your Discord, what is it called? Come on.
No, I jettisoned Patreon and Discord. It was just too much. I wasn't using it enough.
No. Your YouTube podcast name.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, it's called Spoiler Sessions. Yes. Yep. And it's Raven's Dagger, man. I love it.
Oh, you're Raven Dagger's mom. I didn't know that. Funny story. Now we're done. We're doomed. I didn't know your name. Now I do. Raven's Dagger was walking through the house and walked down into one room, and his mom was watching one of my interviews.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, what?
Hello, Raven's Dagger's mom. I interviewed Raven's Dagger 2 years ago. We had a nice chat. I didn't get a chance to meet you though.
Now you're going to go and tell him that we highlighted you. And tonight, I go, Raven, tell your mom I have an interview tonight.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So I can't wait to meet you. All right. Now, let's go. He has to go. It's his fault. He's making me end the podcast early. So see you guys next week. See you guys in the next one. And for now, PopPop's LitRPG World is signing off. And for now,